Hi everyone, welcome back. So we are on video number 7 of our Human Resources Services series of videos. And we've been getting feedback about how people are enjoying the videos because they're like a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we brought in our coffees to have a conversation. And
to make it seem more like a
right,
conversation.
even more like a conversation. And today we're talking about performance management.
Yes.
So I've worked in various companies, and sometimes they've had, fairly good performance management programs. And then I've worked in companies that they have nothing. And so I think it's a lot of work for companies and employees because you have to put some thought and energy into them. But I think they're super important because the companies that didn't have anything, there was no consistency. So some supervisors, like myself, would try and do every 3 months some type of review so that people knew how they were doing and they were getting that feedback. And then other departments would have nothing. So let's talk about how important.
For sure. And I think sometimes what happens is an employee will hear that another employee got the review and they're wondering why they didn't get one.
Yeah.
Because it's not consistent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that trigger my thoughts when you say this. Number one is a lot of employers think that performance review is strictly just the review.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a full performance management program, then you're doing more than just the review. So when it comes to review time, there really should be no surprises. It's formal documentation. It's a formal sit-down meeting that gets put into an employee's file, and you're being rated on competencies that have been chosen that make sense for the position and that make sense for the organization.
Okay.
So when you're in a program, you're actually doing different stages. You're continually monitoring that performance of that employee, and you're providing feedback. That's a huge part of a whole program. Setting targets
Right.
for the employee to meet
Mm-hmm.
for the next year, and then talking about whether or not you met those targets and why at your evaluation time. So there's a lot of different pieces to a program that employers are either not aware of or don't feel they have the time for.
Right.
But the time that you put into it results in engaged and motivated employees.
And that's what I think was the big thing in this one large company I worked at. Our department was very engaged because we were meeting and we were setting targets and we were setting goals. And then other departments, you could tell, were kind of struggling because there was no feedback.
Yeah.
And people want feedback. They want to know, good or bad, how they're doing or what they need to do.
There are so many implications. I think that the strongest performance management program actually is the continual feedback, conversations, interaction that you have with your employees. If you're disconnected, if you're laissez-faire, if you don't want to talk to your employees, that's where things fall off.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you start to see unions coming in because nobody seems to care. That's where you see people starting to leave. That's where you see people starting to talk. That's where you get turmoil and disengaged employees. Like, there are so many different things that can happen, and the solution is very simple. Talk to your employees, get to know them, let them know where they need to improve,
Right.
and it starts.
And where they're doing great.
Exactly.
People love to hear feedback that what
Oh,
they're
yeah,
doing good at,
absolutely.
and then that just builds their confidence and makes them want to come to work even more.
For sure. Yeah. Everybody likes a pat on the back.
Oh, they sure do. Yes. So it's not just about an annual review. It's not just an annual review at pay increase time. It's
Exactly.
a program to set people on the right path to success,
Yeah.
which is beneficial to both the employer and the employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you already have a system in place, you've already created a form or you've downloaded one from the internet, we can look over it and see, do these competencies make sense for your organization and for your positions? Does the rating system work? How can we build off of that program for other pieces of it? And it's quite extensive in the beginning to build it, but once we have it, or we can start from scratch. We have templates and and we can do it either way, but there's a lot of customization involved. But once you get it going, you'll be so happy.
Oh.
And you quickly briefed on pay increases. So some businesses will use a pay for performance type of setting where if you perform well, you get paid for it. Other businesses don't do that. Either way, it's fine. It's okay to do it either way. You might have just annual increases no matter what.
Right.
But we can build the system based on both ways.
Perfect. So once the system's in place, it's perfect for a company, and it's set and you're ready to go. And then as new people come in, you implement the program with them, and I think it's such a great part of a company's success.
I agree.
So if you have any questions about performance management, whether you have one or not, please touch base with us and we'll certainly give you a hand to get that up and running properly.
Yes, please do.
Bye.